What's up, gamers? This is NGG here with another video. This time it is a kind of a challenge review. I was doing a challenge alongside of the funny video game nerd, and I'll link his original challenge video for 2023 in the comments along with his channel. And so he was doing a challenge and he invited a lot of his friends to partake in the challenge as well, and I definitely partook in the challenge. And I'll go over each challenge, what it was. I had to change a little of the challenges out because he had BR and I don't, and he has like the Game Pass and I don't, so I had to skew it a little bit, which he said was okay, just skew it to whatever works for you. So that's what I did. So let's get into what the challenge was. The challenge was kind of like a beating the backlog challenge of 2023. And he gave us 15 categories in order to beat in your backlog. So I will go over every one of them. Like I said, I would have changed a couple, but if the original video will be linked below if you're very curious. All right, so let's go over the first one. And the first challenge was beat a classic game you always wanted to beat. And so for this one, my classic game that I always wanted to beat was Final Fantasy 1, which is the one that I had knocked down because like I said before, I thought I had beat it. I didn't beat it, so obviously I wanted to beat it. So that was my pick for number 1. I have streamed all of Final Fantasy 1, so if you want to see my complete game and the review for that, that's all on one playlist. I'll link it below for the video. But yeah, definitely beat and played that classic game. For number 2, it was play a hyped game of 2022. Remember, this was last year, so it was like beat a game that was hyped for the previous year, basically. And so my previous year hype game was Final Fantasy Crisis Core. I had never played it, and it was a hype game that was coming out at the end of 2022. I ended up beating it at the very beginning of 2023, and it was super fun to play through that. I thought I would have never experienced it if it hadn't come to modern day consoles. I think they translated it as well with the voice actors that are now playing in the remakes and the remasters of number 7. So I don't have like experience with any of the original voice cast, so for me it wasn't a big deal, but I know for some people it was an issue. I didn't have a big deal playing the game. I enjoyed the game for what it was. This was my first time playing an action RPG in the Final Fantasy universe, so that was weird and different. But yeah, super hyped game for 2022 was number 2. Number 3 on the list was a hyped game for 2023. So the year that it's out, you play and beat a game that comes out that year, that you're hyped about. And for me, it was Atelier Ryza 3 was my hype game. It was a game I was looking forward to. It was the end of a trilogy in the Atelier franchise. Usually they do trilogies or duels. They rarely do quads. I've seen 1 or 2 series that have quads, but I think we closed out the chapter of Atelier Ryza and the secret series. So I was super happy, and it was my hyped game for 2023, and I definitely beat my hyped game for 2023. The next one was play a random backlog game. So that one's super easy, right? Just beat any game off your backlog. And for that one, I chose Fairy Fencer Advent Children. I think that's the name. I feel like there's an R in there somewhere. It has a really long title, but I definitely played and beat and reviewed that game for you guys. It was my first Idea Factory game as an RPG, and it seemed like one of those games that wanted you to beat it multiple times. I did like the character interactions, even though the main protagonist was a little bit of an a-hole. A little bit. He has redeeming qualities at towards the middle of the game, but in the beginning he's a little bit of a jerk, and some of the female characters, the fencers, other fencers are jerks as well. So like the whole cast are jerks to each other. There's one or two that I was like, oh, I love this character, and I love the battle system in this game was so much fun. I had never had that much fun with the battle. Like I just kept wanting to battle and battle and battle, and this game, the way it makes you want to repeat the game has that for you. But I also don't like to play past when the game is beat. That's just me. That I know that's not a lot of people that, but that's just me. So that was my game for number 4. And for number 5, I think I had, at this point I had customized it, which was play a 3DS game, right? And so for number 5, I was playing Final Fantasy Explorers. Now, I beat this game last year, even though I didn't think I did. We recently looked up, and there is no other ending other than the one I got. So I beat it, and I didn't even know I beat it. Like, because I did get an ending. I thought it was like Monster Hunter that has multiple endings until we looked it up. And apparently there is no other ending other than the one I got. So apparently I thought I hadn't beat it, but I definitely did. So I ran credits. There are no more credits going to be rolled in the game if I go to past post-game content. So then I beat the game, right? I didn't know, so that's why it wasn't on my list of beat games of last year. But once I looked it up at the end of this year, at the beginning of this year, I found out that that was a beat game. So yay, I thought I hadn't done it, but I actually did. The next game I have for you is play a game on Switch. Super easy for me, right? I'm gonna play all my games on Switches. So what I picked for this one was Pikmin 3. It was another game that I had wanted to play, and this one I played and beat with my sister. I enjoyed that this Pikmin had multiplayer, right? So I was able to run through this Pikmin game with my sister. She had never played and beat a Pikmin. Well, she had played a Pikmin game before, but the 1 and 2 have more time mechanics than number 3 did. And so when we played together, she didn't understand. Like she wanted to collect all the food so that she would not starve, but I'm like, just go through the game, you're not gonna starve. Just make sure you always have at least a day, 2 days supply. So if we're starting to run low, then we'll go out and look for food. But right now, let's just run through the game, and while running through the game, we get food for the day, which was, which was nice. So this was her first time beating Pikmin 3, and this was my second time beating Pikmin 3, but Pikmin 3 Deluxe was my first time beating it as a co-op experience, as that's what was added to the Nintendo Switch version. I don't understand why Pikmin 4 didn't have it. It would have made it such an amazing game, more than it already was. So that was number 6 of the challenge. Number 7 of the challenge is one I did not do, which was play an Xbox game. Now, I was planning on playing Final Fantasy 13, but since I have decided to play my Final Fantasy games in order, I didn't have an Xbox 360 game because I don't have the Xbox One. I didn't have an Xbox 360 game that I kind of wanted to beat for this challenge. So for me, that number 7 fell by the wayside, and I did not complete the challenge for number 7. For number 8, it was play a PlayStation game, which I did. I did play and beat a PlayStation game, and that was Strangers of Paradise. I played and beat it. I haven't reviewed it on the channel because I might play it again as a multiplayer experience, so we'll see, because I can review it now if I want to as a single player experience, because that's how I played it. I played it under easy mode because it's more like a Souls-like game, and those aren't typically my kind of games. And because I was streaming it, I didn't want to just die all the time, and I just wanted to experience the game. And there's no shame in playing the game the way you feel comfortable, right? But the next time I play it, when you play on multiplayer, there's gonna be no easy mode, so I have to get good at the game and be able to run through it, right? So this one I'm waiting to buy the PlayStation Online just so I can play this with people online. For sure we have Manako, who said he wants to play with me, and we have space for one other person if they want to join us in that challenge for the Final Fantasy Strangers of Paradise. The next game we had was play a game that's out of my comfort zone. And so a game that's out of my comfort zone are horror games. You don't see many horror games on this channel because I typically, if it's not Resident Evil, I usually don't play it. So I did play a visual novel that was outside of my comfort zone, and that was Death Mark. That was Spirit Hunter 1 Volume 1, and it wasn't a game that I would normally pick up and buy. I mean, I had it, but it was a game that I was just like kept pushing back into that backlog because I was like, ooh, I don't want to be scared while reading my books. And so I kept pushing it back. So for this challenge, I put it, that was the game I was gonna beat for this challenge, that random game that's outside of my comfort zone. And now I'm getting ready to, I'm currently reading the second part of that book because the third one is coming out in February. So I am now reading the second part, or by the time this video comes out, I might have already finished it, reading the second part of, and that's NG Spirit Hunter. And so hopefully I've already finished it by the time this video is coming out, or I'm still in the process. I definitely want to finish it before the first week in February. The next challenge was play a hyped indie game. So number 10 was play a hyped indie game. And for me, that hyped indie game was River City Girls 2. And for sure, it's always my hype game. Oh, I love these River City Girls games. I know they're not that big yet. I mean, they're getting bigger, right? And I really don't usually tend to like, well, I just started liking beat 'em ups with the River City Girls genre. I'm playing a couple of other ones, but I think the River City like universe is where I want to stay while I'm beating these games. And then I might go on to like Double Dragon, or I've done the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles too. I beat a lot of the games. I still have like maybe 3 more that I'm trying to whittle down from that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles collection, and then it'll be done. But right now, that is a River City Girls 2 is a played and beat hyped indie game. The next one I have for you is play a game you started and stopped a while ago. Now that one was hard for me, right? Because there's a couple of games that I've started and stopped for various reasons. And for this one, I picked Kirby Star Allies. Now, I had started playing it with my kids. They were disinterested, and so I ended up having to beat it on my own. It's not a game that I would normally play. I do like to pick up these Kirby games though, because I do have a bunch, and I like to pick them up in like February-ish or right before February, so the review comes out in February. And I played and beat it, and I think I even had the review out in January of 2023. So that was my played and beat game. Obviously there's a review on the channel if you want to see more thoughts on that Kirby game. The next one is play a game you will buy day one and not stop playing, right? And so for that one, I picked Pikmin 4. Now Pikmin 4, I mean, it could have been anything, right? Any game that I started and didn't just stop playing it. But Pikmin 4, I couldn't put it down. I mean, there was another game that could have gone easily for last year on this list, a couple of them. But for Pikmin 4 was the first one of the games that I couldn't put down for last year on my list. That's the one I chose, and I loved Pikmin 4, guys. So in love with these Pikmin games. I'm very happy that they did much better than they had in previous years, and more people know about them, because I've been playing Pikmin since Pikmin 1, and they're few and far between. Like, Pikmin 1 came out on the GameCube, so did Pikmin 2, then on the Wii U we got Pikmin 3, and then Deluxe on the Switch. This is the first like Switch exclusive Pikmin game. So I'm saying, like, these games come out once every console generation, which is not fun for a Pikmin lover like me. And I just love these little Pikmin games. I try not to kill my Pikmin. Obviously, it happens, but we try. I'm never gonna try for no kill Pikmin run, because that seems impossible to do. But it would be nice if I could. But I don't think I would ever like work myself over so much. I did kill like maybe 500 Pikmin in all the, I think I was 60 days in, like 60 days in game, not 60 days real time. But so 500 Pikmin in 60 or 70 games in game days. The next one I have for you is, now the next three are going to tell you the categories and that I changed them to because he had them on VR and Game Pass and stuff like that. So what I was going to do was play a game and beat a game on the Wii U because I have one. That fell by the wayside. I didn't play and beat a game on the Wii U. The next one was going to be because he had Game Pass. So I was like, oh, the closest thing I have to Game Pass is the NSO. So I will play and beat a game on the NSO. And I was going to start Minish Cap, but I dropped it once, like, I got my Final Fantasy games, and I was like, let me beat my franchise games in order of how I like these franchises. And since my best franchise game ever is the Final Fantasy series, that's the one I'm tackling. So I never played a game on the NSO. I need to play one eventually. I do want to go to Minish Cap. That's the one I'm hyped for. Maybe Golden Sun, but that's 2 games. The Mother series also sounds like a good games to get into. There are a couple of games that I want to play on the NSO, and so maybe if I do this this same list next year, I will tackle one of the games on the NSO to beat. But right now, I didn't beat anything on the NSO. And then the last one was that I made for myself because he's hitting different consoles, so I was hitting different consoles as well. And for me, it was beat a game on the Wii. I didn't do that either. I wanted to. I had plans for it, but it's one of my gaming resolutions this year. So if I do this challenge again, I will have this ready for, or like a Wii game ready for it. But I'd never beat a game on my Wii. I do want to explore my other consoles, so I might change up. Like, I might change this list if I do it again next year. Or I plan on starting my own little challenge that has nothing to do with like beating the games. It's gonna be like more of a collections versus beat game challenge. But that one I'm probably gonna do as a short. So if you want to join me, I'll link it once I start that challenge. It'll be, like I said, on the shorts. I'm not gonna start it as a full video. There will be a shorts challenge where I challenge, and that's the challenge I want to do. So I might do this one again for like my bigger video of 2024 if I do it again. But the challenge I want to do, and I haven't done the point system, which is why the shorts hasn't come out yet, is like give myself a certain amount of points. Like, all right, if I beat a game, it adds 20 points. I just don't want to be in the red. How's that, right? So if every time I buy a game, I have to minus 5 points, right, for every game I buy. And you guys have seen my pickup video games. You guys know I buy lots of games. And so for every beat game I play, it's going to be worth 20, like maybe 10 points or something like that. I have to figure out the point system, but basically that's kind of what I want to do for my shorts video. But I might do this one again because it did encourage me to play games that were outside of my normal Switch games and play, like right now I'm playing Animal Crossing on the DS. I have one DS game, I have one 3DS game, I have one Wii U game. Well, no, I don't have any Wii U games. I have one Wii game, but like stuff like that. It's encouraging me to play at least one game from my backlog. So you might see this video again next year. It might be a little changed up, but I did enjoy playing this challenge with the Funny Video Game Nerd, and shout outs to him for bringing this challenge along my way. It was super fun to tackle the challenge along him and his friends. Thanks for watching, guys. Happy gaming. Bye.